Ethan slowly opened his eyes, and the first thing he noticed was light. Soft, gentle, and unlike anything he had seen on Earth. It wasn't the harsh glare of the morning sun through a window. Instead, it seemed to glow from the walls themselves, a warm shimmer that made the entire room feel alive. He blinked a few times, trying to make sense of where he was. The bed beneath him was smooth and strangely comfortable, as if it had been molded exactly to his body. Panic and confusion nudged at the edge of his mind, but something in the calmness of the room urged him to stay still for a moment. As his eyes adjusted, he realized he was not alone. Standing beside the bed was a figure delicate and elegant, almost like a vision from a dream. She had skin that shimmered faintly in the light, like the soft glow of moonlight on water. Her eyes were large, gentle, and intelligent, reflecting curiosity and warmth. Ethan froze, unsure if he should speak or scream. Before he could say anything, she spoke, her voice soft but clear, each word precise. "Good morning, Master Ethan. You have been chosen." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. Chosen? Chosen for what? His voice sounded small in the vast room. The figure tilted her head slightly, a smile playing on her lips. "Do not be afraid. All will be explained. My name is Lyra. I am here to guide you." Ethan sat up, running his hands through his hair. The words chosen and guide did not make sense. He was just an ordinary man, living an ordinary life on Earth with a small apartment, a job he liked, and a few friends who knew him well. Nothing in his life had ever hinted at something like this. Guide me. Where? Why me? Lyra stepped closer, her movements graceful and quiet. You have been selected because of your curiosity, your kindness, and your imagination. These qualities are rare in your species. We observed you and found that you have the potential to do great things, not only for yourself but for others across the galaxy. Ethan blinked, trying to absorb her words. Across the galaxy? You mean I'm on a spaceship? Yes, she said simply. We are traveling beyond your world. There are wonders to see, knowledge to learn, and challenges to face. But everything begins with understanding. He tried to stand, but the room itself seemed to invite him to stay calm, to let his mind open rather than panic. The walls were smooth and iridescent, and the soft glow reflected in a way that made the space seem much larger than it appeared at first glance. Strange patterns moved across the surfaces like liquid light, constantly shifting but never overwhelming. Ethan felt a strange sense of peace, as though the room itself was designed to reassure him. Lyra gestured toward a window, and Ethan's jaw dropped. Outside, he could see stars unlike any he had ever seen from Earth. They were brighter, more colorful, and countless in number, scattered across the blackness like a sea of diamonds. In the distance, he could even see planets with swirling clouds and glowing rings. He had always looked at the night sky with wonder, but this view was nothing like that. It was immediate, close and breathtaking. You see, Lyra said, the universe is far larger and more diverse than you have imagined. We hope to help you understand it, and in doing so, discover what your species can contribute. Ethan turned back to her, still in disbelief. I don't know if I can do any of that. I'm just... Lyra smiled, a soft, encouraging smile. It is because you are you that you were chosen. Your uniqueness is your strength. We do not expect perfection. We expect curiosity, courage, and empathy. All things you already have in abundance. Ethan sank back onto the bed, trying to calm his racing thoughts. He had so many questions. Why him? Why now? What exactly was expected of him? And yet, despite his confusion, he felt an unexpected excitement. This was something extraordinary, something he had never dreamed possible. Lyra moved to the bedside table and picked up a small device. It was smooth and glowing, yet seemed light enough to float in her hand. She handed it to him. This will help you understand us and us you. It translates languages, concepts, and knowledge. Use it well, and it will reveal much about the galaxy and your place within it. Ethan took it, marveling at how light and comfortable it felt. The moment his fingers touched it, a soft warmth spread through him, as if the device itself understood him. He looked at Lyra, still unsure, still trembling with wonder and fear, and she simply nodded. You are ready, she said quietly. The journey begins with waking, not just from sleep, but from the limits of your imagination. Ethan stared at the device, then back at the alien figure beside him. Everything about this moment felt surreal. Yet deep inside he knew it was real. His life had changed forever in the span of a few minutes, and whatever lay ahead, he could feel that he was standing at the edge of something incredible. And as he looked into Lyra's gentle eyes, he realized that whatever chosen meant, it was not something to fear. It was something to embrace. Ethan could hardly believe what had happened. Just hours ago, he had been on Earth living a simple life, and now he was aboard a spaceship with an alien who called herself Lyra. Yet, as he looked around the glowing room and saw the stars outside, he felt a spark of excitement that pushed away his fear. He still had many questions, and Lyra seemed ready to answer them all. She gestured toward a door that appeared almost invisible in the glowing walls. "Come," she said. "There is much to show you." Ethan hesitated for a moment, then rose from the bed. The floor beneath his feet was soft and warm, almost as if it responded to his weight. When he stepped through the door, the room beyond seemed to stretch endlessly. The walls were transparent, yet filled with soft light, and the ceiling arched high above, revealing more of the endless stars outside. Lyra walked gracefully beside him. "This is the central deck of the ship," she explained. "It is designed to help beings from many worlds feel at ease. You will find everything you need here to learn and to grow." Ethan tried to absorb everything. There were devices that hovered in midair, glowing softly, each one moving in its own rhythm as if it were alive. Screens appeared and disappeared at the touch of Lyra's hand, showing images and maps that seemed impossible. Some displayed galaxies he had never seen. Others showed complex patterns that shifted and changed like living organisms. He felt a mixture of awe and confusion. "What is all this?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Knowledge," Lyra said. "The universe holds far more than your world alone. We believe that by understanding it, you and others like you can achieve greatness. But knowledge is not just facts. It is wisdom, imagination, and understanding. That is why you were chosen. Humans have something special that many beings lack: the ability to imagine what has never been seen and to care deeply for others." Ethan nodded slowly, feeling a sense of pride he had never experienced before. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, but Lyra's words made him realize that even small actions and thoughts could matter in a much larger universe. She led him to a corner of the room where a series of chairs floated above the floor, forming a semicircle around a glowing table. "This is where you will learn," she said. "It may look strange, but do not be afraid. The technology here is designed to work with your mind and your senses. You will see things in ways you never thought possible." Ethan sat down hesitantly, feeling the chair adjust perfectly to his body. As he touched the table, images began to appear, three-dimensional and vibrant. They were planets, stars, and beings from worlds he could never have imagined. He could move them with his hands, rotate them, zoom in and out. It was like holding the universe itself in his palms. "Wow," he breathed. This is amazing. But why me? Why would you choose someone like me?" Lyra smiled, and for the first time, Ethan noticed the gentle warmth in her eyes. "Because you are capable of seeing possibilities that others cannot. You care about more than just yourself. You ask questions and you seek to understand. That is why humans are special. Your potential is immense when guided and nurtured. You may not see it yet, but you will." Ethan leaned back, still taking it all in. "And what exactly will I be doing? What does this guidance mean?" "You will learn from us," Lyra said, "and you will teach us. Knowledge and understanding flow both ways. The universe is vast, and no single being or species can know it all. By working together, we grow stronger. Your role will be to explore, to ask questions, and to help build connections between worlds. That is your purpose, not as a hero, but as someone who can bridge the gap between beings who might never have met otherwise." Ethan thought about that. The idea was enormous, almost overwhelming. He was just one person, a small human in a vast galaxy. Yet, as he watched Lyra float gracefully around the room, guiding him, he began to understand that even one person could make a difference. Lyra paused near a window, her gaze resting on a planet that glowed softly in the distance. "It will not be easy," she said. "There will be questions without answers and moments of doubt. But you will never be alone. You have your own mind, your heart, and the support of those who chose you. And above all, you have curiosity, the most powerful tool of all." Ethan nodded. He felt a mix of nervousness and excitement, a sense that his life had truly changed. He could return to the safety of what he knew, or he could step forward into a world filled with mysteries and wonders. Looking at Lyra, he realized that he did not want to turn back. As the stars outside shimmered and the ship hummed quietly around him, Ethan felt a strange calm. This was not just a journey through space, but a journey into something greater, understanding, growth, and perhaps even a new purpose for humanity. And beside him, Lyra waited, patient and steady, ready to guide him through whatever lay ahead. For the first time in his life, Ethan felt that he was exactly where he needed to be. Ethan spent the next few hours exploring the ship under Lyra's guidance. Every corner of the vessel seemed alive, not in a frightening way, but as if it had been created to anticipate and respond to the needs of those aboard. Smooth pathways glowed faintly beneath his feet, and gentle lights moved along the walls like living ribbons, changing color to match the rhythm of his steps. Ethan found himself smiling, forgetting his earlier fear, replaced by a growing sense of wonder. Lyra led him to a large chamber that seemed to stretch endlessly, yet there were no walls to confine it. Floating platforms hovered in the air, connected by thin, glowing threads that glimmered like starlight. Ethan noticed that some platforms displayed shimmering images, entire worlds, cities, and creatures of many forms. "These are examples of the civilizations we observe," Lyra explained. "We learn from them, and sometimes we offer guidance when it is needed. You will be able to see their cultures, their achievements, and even their challenges without interfering. Observation and understanding are the first steps toward cooperation." Ethan walked slowly among the platforms, mesmerized by the vivid displays. One showed a planet covered entirely in sparkling blue oceans with floating cities shaped like bubbles. Another depicted a lush green world, where creatures with long flowing limbs moved gracefully across the land. He reached out, and a platform responded to his touch, expanding into a detailed view of the city streets. People moved naturally, laughing, working, living their lives. Ethan felt a sense of connection he had never experienced before. "Why show me this?" he asked. "I mean, I understand it's to learn, but why me specifically?" Lyra paused, her expression thoughtful. "Because humans have something unique. You can imagine possibilities beyond what is, and you care about the well-being of others. Other species are excellent in many ways, but they do not always have your level of creativity combined with empathy. That is why you were chosen, not because you are perfect, but because you have potential to help connect worlds that might otherwise remain strangers to each other." Ethan nodded slowly. He thought about his life on Earth, how small and ordinary it had seemed, and now he felt as if a door had opened to a vast universe where he could matter in ways he had never imagined. It was exciting, almost overwhelming, yet somehow he trusted Lyra completely. Lyra moved toward another area, a smaller chamber filled with floating orbs of light. Each orb contained a different type of knowledge, science, art, history, and philosophy from countless worlds. "You will use these to learn," she said, "but also to understand that knowledge is not just information. It is connection. It shows how beings think, feel, and create. It teaches patience, understanding, and respect." Ethan reached out to touch one of the orbs. Instantly, it expanded, showing a three-dimensional display of a forest world filled with creatures that glowed in harmony with their environment. He could hear sounds, feel textures, and even sense the gentle rhythm of the wind and water. It was so real that he blinked, half expecting to feel the forest beneath his feet. Lyra watched him closely. "You are doing well," she said. "Remember, learning is not a test of memory. It is a way to expand your mind and heart. The universe has so much to teach, and you are ready to receive it." As Ethan explored, he noticed that he felt more confident with each new discovery. He began asking questions not only about the worlds he saw, but also about Lyra herself. "Your species. You seem so calm, so precise. Do you feel curiosity the way humans do?" Lyra smiled softly. "Yes, but our curiosity is tempered by experience. We observe first, then act. Humans often act first, driven by instinct and emotion. That is both your challenge and your gift. Your emotions can guide you to empathy and creativity in ways our species does not experience." Ethan paused, considering her words. He realized that she was showing him not only the wonders of the universe, but also the strengths and weaknesses of being human. His imagination, his emotions, his desire to help. These were what made him valuable in ways he had never thought about before. After a while, Lyra guided him to a quiet observation deck. From there, he could see the spaceship moving smoothly through space, past colorful nebulae and distant suns. The view was breathtaking, and Ethan felt a deep sense of peace. "This is incredible," he whispered. "I never thought I would see anything like this." Lyra stood beside him, her presence calming and reassuring. It is only the beginning, she said. There is much more to learn and experience. But for now, remember this feeling. Curiosity and wonder are the first steps toward understanding. Keep them and you will find your way. Ethan nodded. The fear he had felt when he first woke up had mostly faded, replaced by a sense of purpose. He was just one human in a vast universe, yet he already understood that he could contribute in ways he had never imagined. And beside him, Lyra waited patiently, ready to guide him further into the mysteries of the stars. For the first time, Ethan felt that being chosen was not a burden or a mystery. It was an invitation to learn, to grow, and to become part of something far greater than himself. And he was ready to accept it. Ethan woke early that day, his mind buzzing with curiosity. The spaceship had become less strange and more like a place of discovery, and he felt eager to see what lay ahead. Lyra greeted him with her usual calm smile, her eyes sparkling faintly in the soft glow of the room. Today, she said, you will face your first challenge. Do not be afraid. It is not dangerous. It is meant to help you grow. Ethan felt a flutter of nerves. Challenge? He had expected lessons, exploration, and knowledge, but a challenge sounded more serious. What kind of challenge? He asked. Lyra gestured for him to follow. They moved through the ship, passing glowing corridors that curved in gentle arcs, until they reached a large chamber unlike any Ethan had seen before. The walls shimmered with color, and in the center floated a massive sphere of light. Ethan instinctively slowed his steps, feeling the weight of the moment. This is the archive, Lyra explained. It is an ancient, sentient repository of knowledge. It tests those who wish to learn from it. You will face puzzles and situations that require thought, empathy, and imagination. Do not rush. Observe carefully and remember who you are. Ethan took a deep breath. Okay, I'll try my best. The sphere of light pulsed gently and a voice calm and melodic filled the room. Welcome, traveler. You may proceed if you are willing to learn and understand. Choose your path with care, for each choice reveals who you are. Suddenly, images appeared in the air before Ethan. He saw 3 doors, each glowing with a different color. The first showed a bustling city on an alien world, full of activity and life. The second displayed a vast forest, its trees reaching high into glowing skies. The third revealed a strange machine floating in a field, slowly assembling itself. Lyra's hand rested lightly on his shoulder. Each door represents a challenge. You must choose one and your journey will begin. Listen to your intuition. Ethan looked at the doors, feeling the weight of the decision. He did not want to fail, yet he understood that fear would not help him. After a moment, he stepped toward the forest. Something about its calm beauty and harmony drew him in. The moment he passed through the glowing threshold, the world around him shifted. He found himself standing on soft, glowing grass beneath towering trees with leaves that shimmered like liquid light. The air was filled with a gentle hum like music without words. Ethan could hear small creatures moving in the branches and see plants that pulsed with color. A soft voice echoed in his mind. Observe and understand. Your challenge is not to conquer or control, but to connect. Ethan knelt, touching the grass. It felt alive beneath his fingers. He noticed a small creature trapped in a tangle of glowing vines, struggling to free itself. He hesitated. The archive had said he must choose carefully. Then instinctively he reached out, gently untangling the vines. The creature looked at him with intelligent eyes, then scurried away into the forest. A warm light surrounded him, and a gentle melody filled the air. You have chosen wisely. You understand empathy and patience. Continue to learn. Ethan moved further into the forest. Each step brought new wonders. Streams that sparkled with shifting colors, flowers that responded to his touch, and animals that communicated without sound. At one point, he encountered a puzzle, a series of floating symbols that seemed to shift and change as he tried to focus. He remembered Lyra's words, observe carefully, do not rush. He took a deep breath, studying the patterns and noticing subtle connections between them. Slowly, the symbols aligned, forming a path of light that led him deeper into the forest. As he walked along the path, Ethan felt a growing sense of confidence. The challenge was not about speed or strength, but about understanding, patience, and creativity. Each choice he made revealed something about himself and about the way he could relate to the universe. Finally, he reached a clearing where the light was brighter, and the air seemed to hum with approval. A voice spoke again, softer this time. You have completed this test. You have shown curiosity, empathy, and wisdom. You are ready for the next step. Ethan felt a mixture of relief and pride. He had worried about failing, but he realized that the archive was not judging him. It was guiding him, helping him recognize his own strengths. Lyra appeared beside him, her smile gentle and approving. You have done well, Ethan. Each challenge will be different, but always remember what you learned here. Empathy, observation, and patience are more powerful than force or speed. You are growing into the human we hope to guide. Ethan nodded, feeling a new sense of purpose. The fear he had felt when he first woke up had faded, replaced by determination and wonder. He understood that this was more than a test. It was a lesson about himself, about the qualities that made humans special. As he followed Lyra back to the ship, Ethan looked at the stars outside and felt a deep connection to the universe. He had faced his first challenge and he had succeeded, not because he was perfect, but because he had stayed true to himself. And beside him, Lyra continued to guide him, patient and steady, ready to lead him toward the next step of an extraordinary journey. For the first time, Ethan realized that being chosen was not about privilege. It was about opportunity, growth, and the chance to discover what humans could truly achieve in a universe full of wonder. After completing his first challenge, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. Each step aboard the spaceship now felt less intimidating and more like a step into a world full of possibilities. He had begun to understand that his journey was not just about seeing new places, but about discovering the strengths within himself. Lyra noticed his growing confidence and seemed quietly pleased, guiding him through the next part of the ship with her usual grace. They arrived at a chamber filled with soft, floating lights that changed color as Ethan moved. The walls displayed images from distant worlds, some he had seen before, others completely new, unlike anything imaginable. Lyra gestured toward the images. These are stories of civilizations. Some are old, some young. Each one teaches a lesson, and each one has something to share. You will learn not only from observing, but from feeling and understanding. Ethan walked slowly, studying the displays. He saw creatures building cities in harmony with nature, others creating incredible art from simple materials, and even beings who communicated using patterns of light. Each image told a story, and Ethan felt something stirring inside him. He realized that every species, no matter how different, had its own wisdom, and that understanding these differences could bring beings together. Lyra floated beside him. Humans have a unique ability, she said. You combine logic with emotion, creativity with care. That is why your presence is important. The universe is vast, but connection is possible when we understand and respect one another. Ethan nodded, absorbing her words. He had never thought of himself as special, yet here he was, being trusted to learn and grow in ways he had never imagined. He reached out to a display showing a planet where beings created music that shaped the environment around them. As he listened, he could feel the harmony between sound and life. It was beautiful and made him think of Earth's music, but somehow greater, more alive. Lyra noticed his fascination. Music, art, and creativity are forms of understanding. They allow beings to communicate beyond words. Humans have a remarkable gift for this. Never underestimate the power of imagination. They moved on to another area of the ship where small rooms floated above the floor, each containing different types of learning tools. Ethan entered one that displayed mathematical patterns intertwined with visual art. Numbers and colors danced together, forming shapes that changed in response to his thoughts. Ethan realized that the ship was designed to respond to him, to his curiosity, and to his mind. It was not just a place of observation, but a place of interaction. Every experience here is a lesson, Lyra said softly. Not all lessons are simple. Some will challenge you, some will inspire you, but each will help you grow and understand the universe and yourself in ways that were not possible on Earth. Ethan spent hours exploring, touching displays, and asking questions. Lyra answered each one patiently, offering explanations that were clear yet deep. He began to see patterns, connections between worlds, and ideas that seemed to stretch the limits of his imagination. More importantly, he began to see how humans could contribute, how curiosity and empathy could bridge gaps between different beings. As the day passed, Ethan and Lyra found a quiet spot near a transparent wall, overlooking a nearby star system. The stars were close enough that he could almost imagine touching them, their light reflecting in the gentle glow of the ship. Lyra floated beside him, and for a moment there was no need for words. The vastness of space, the beauty of distant worlds, and the sense of connection they offered spoke louder than any explanation. Finally, Ethan broke the silence. Lyra, I think I'm starting to understand. Being chosen isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about noticing what's important, caring, and using what I have to help. Lyra's expression softened. Exactly, Ethan. You are learning not just to see, but to understand. Every action you take, every thought you nurture, shapes not only your journey, but also the connections you build. This is the essence of being human, and it is why you were chosen. Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with the lights around him. He realized that this journey was more than discovery. It was growth, purpose, and connection. He was beginning to see that humans, despite their flaws, had a remarkable potential for understanding and empathy, and that potential could reach far beyond Earth. As the spaceship hummed softly around them, Ethan looked at Lyra and felt a strong sense of gratitude. He had met an alien who was not only guiding him, but also showing him the value of being human in a universe full of possibilities. For the first time, he truly believed that his curiosity, imagination, and heart could make a difference, and not just for himself, but for the countless worlds he had yet to discover. And as the stars shimmered outside, Ethan felt ready. Whatever came next, he knew he would face it with curiosity, courage, and an open heart, guided by the gentle presence of Lyra and the incredible opportunity of being chosen. Ethan woke with a sense of anticipation. Today felt different, as if the ship itself was aware that something important would be revealed. Lyra greeted him with her gentle smile, but there was a sparkle in her eyes that hinted at something extraordinary. Today, she said, you will learn the true purpose of your being chosen. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He had begun to understand many things about the universe, about other worlds, and about himself, but the words true purpose made him nervous. My purpose? He asked quietly. What does that mean? Lyra gestured for him to follow her down a corridor bathed in soft, shifting light. As they moved, the walls displayed images of countless civilizations, their histories unfolding like living stories. Ethan felt awe again, but also a weight of responsibility. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, but now he sensed that he had a role far greater than he had imagined. They entered a chamber that glowed with a warm, inviting light. In its center floated a holographic map of the galaxy, vast and detailed, showing stars, planets, and traveling routes between worlds. This, Lyra explained, is the Interstellar Council's registry. Many species are part of it, each contributing wisdom, knowledge, and guidance. And now humans will have their place here. Ethan's eyes widened. Humans? A place in a council of civilizations across the galaxy? He could hardly believe it. But me? Why humans? And why me specifically? Lyra's gaze was calm and steady. Your species possesses qualities that many beings admire but do not fully understand. Curiosity, creativity, and empathy. These are qualities that allow for connection, understanding, and growth. You, Ethan, were chosen because you embody these qualities. You have the ability to help humanity step into the wider universe with responsibility and insight. Ethan felt a mixture of pride and nervousness. He had always considered himself ordinary, yet here he was, being entrusted with something beyond imagination. The thought of representing humanity across the stars was overwhelming. Lyra moved closer to the holographic map, touching a distant star system. A series of small images appeared, showing alien leaders, scientists, and thinkers communicating with each other. The Council ensures peaceful cooperation, sharing of knowledge, and support between civilizations. It is not a place for power but for understanding, and humans are now invited to join because we believe your perspective can bring balance, creativity, and empathy to the universe. Ethan took a deep breath, trying to absorb it all. He had seen wonders, learned lessons, and faced challenges, but this revelation went beyond anything he had imagined. It was not just personal growth. It was a responsibility to humanity, to connect his world with the galaxy in meaningful ways. Lyra's hand hovered over the map, pointing to a glowing line connecting Earth to other worlds. Your role will be to learn, to understand, and to share, to represent humans with honesty, kindness, and insight. It is not a task for one day or one journey. It is a path that will unfold over time, with challenges and discoveries at every step. Ethan nodded slowly. He felt the weight of the task, but also a spark of determination. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, yet he realized that humans had a special place in it, a place where empathy, creativity, and courage could make a real difference. Lyra floated closer, her expression gentle but firm. You may feel doubt. You may feel small, but remember that being chosen is not about being perfect. It is about being willing to learn, to care, and to act with understanding. Your choices will shape not only your journey but also how humans are seen across the stars. Ethan felt a warmth spread through him. He had worried about being ordinary, about whether he was truly capable. Now he understood that being chosen was not a reward for greatness but an invitation to grow, to contribute, and to make connections that could change the universe for the better. He looked at Lyra, feeling gratitude and trust. I think I understand, he said. It's not about being a hero. It's about learning, understanding, and helping humans take their first steps in the galaxy. Lyra smiled, her eyes reflecting the glowing map of stars. Exactly, Ethan, and I will guide you as long as you need. But remember, the greatest lessons often come from your own choices, your own heart, and your own imagination. Humanity's future is in your hands, and your journey has only just begun. Ethan gazed at the stars beyond the ship's walls, feeling both awe and determination. The universe was vast, and his place within it was small in size but immense in potential. He had learned about the beauty and diversity of countless worlds, faced challenges that tested his mind and heart, and now he understood the trust placed in him. For the first time, he felt a true sense of purpose. Being chosen was not about privilege, fame, or power. It was about responsibility, curiosity, and the willingness to grow. And as the ship hummed softly around him, Ethan knew that he was ready to embrace the journey ahead. With Lyra's guidance and the infinite possibilities of the stars before him, he was no longer just a human on Earth. He was a bridge between worlds, a learner, an observer, and a part of something far greater than he had ever imagined. And with each passing moment, he felt ready to step into the role he had been chosen for, eager to discover what humanity could achieve among the stars. Ethan felt a strange mixture of excitement and nostalgia as the spaceship prepared to return to Earth. The stars, planets, and galaxies he had seen now felt familiar, almost like old friends, yet his heart ached slightly for the simplicity of his life before. Lyra hovered beside him, her calm presence reassuring, and he realized how much he had grown since waking up in that mysterious room. This journey, it has changed me, he said quietly, gazing at the swirling colors outside the ship. I never thought I could see the universe this way. I never thought humans could. He trailed off, unsure how to put the enormity of his experience into words. Lyra's gentle smile encouraged him. You have learned more than you realize, Ethan. You have seen the diversity of life, the wisdom of countless civilizations, and the possibilities of cooperation and understanding. You have discovered your own potential and the strengths of your species. That is why you were chosen. Ethan nodded. It was true. He felt different now, not because he had powers or special abilities, but because he understood the value of curiosity, empathy, and imagination. Humanity, he realized, had so much potential to contribute to the universe, and he was the first to take that step. As the spaceship approached Earth, Ethan's mind filled with anticipation. He could see the familiar blue and green of his home planet, glowing softly from space. But he saw it differently now. Earth was not just his home. It was a place full of possibility, a starting point for a species capable of greatness. Lyra guided him to a special chamber where he could communicate with people on Earth without startling them. Holographic images of cities and people appeared, and Ethan realized he could share the knowledge he had gained in subtle ways, ideas, inspirations, and visions that could help humanity grow without overwhelming them. He began sending messages, small insights into science, art, and cooperation that had been shared with him. Slowly he saw changes. People began experimenting, exploring, and imagining in ways they hadn't before. Communities worked together more closely, valuing creativity and understanding over conflict. Ethan smiled, realizing that even one human inspired and guided could start a ripple of change. Lyra hovered nearby, watching him. You see, Ethan? Your purpose is not just about what you have learned, but about what you inspire. Humans have the potential to connect, to imagine and to create a better world. And you are the first to show them how. Ethan's heart swelled. He felt pride, not selfish pride, but the deep satisfaction of knowing that he could help humanity take its first steps into something greater. He thought about the other civilizations he had seen, the creatures and cultures that had taught him so much, and realized that all of it could now guide Earth's people to a brighter future. For days, he worked with Lyra, learning how to communicate these ideas in ways humans could understand. He discovered that it wasn't enough to see the universe. He had to inspire others to care, to imagine, and to take small but meaningful actions. Slowly, he saw curiosity spreading, creativity blossoming, and cooperation becoming a shared goal. One evening, as the Earth rotated gently below, Ethan sat beside Lyra on the observation deck. The stars beyond shimmered, but his gaze lingered on the planet he loved. "It's strange," he said softly. "I've traveled farther than I ever imagined, seen things no one else could, and yet I feel most connected to Earth. It's like everything I've learned out there comes back here, and it makes me see our world differently." Lyra nodded, her expression gentle. "Exactly, Ethan. The universe is vast and wonders await, but Earth is where your journey began, and it is where your impact will grow. Humans are special not because of strength or power, but because of your heart, your imagination, and your willingness to care. You have reminded them and yourself of that truth." Ethan smiled, a quiet, fulfilled smile. He realized that being chosen had been about trust, opportunity, and growth. It was not about standing above others, but about showing what humans could achieve when guided by curiosity and empathy. He felt a deep sense of purpose, knowing that his journey was only the beginning, and that humanity had a bright future ahead, waiting to be explored and understood. As night fell across the planet, Ethan stood at the window gazing at the lights of cities and towns far below. The universe was vast, full of wonders he had only begun to understand, yet he felt hope. Humans, he thought, were capable of amazing things, and he, guided by Lyra and the lessons of the stars, would help them see it. With a gentle hum of the spaceship around him and Lyra by his side, Ethan realized that waking up beside an alien maid had changed everything. What had started as confusion and fear had become wonder, growth, and purpose. He had discovered that humans, with their curiosity, empathy, and imagination, could reach the stars not only physically but in heart and mind. And as the spaceship descended toward Earth, Ethan smiled, ready to take the first steps in a journey that would shape humanity's future. One inspired thought, one act of understanding, and one dream at a time.